Good morning.
You guys have any activity going on? Who's seeing some success out there right now?
I can tell you that we have now are officially through inspections on the mayor's mansion.
That
So that's
is
exciting.
for a building that big and that old, getting through inspections that's a major hurdle.
Oh man, you don't even know how I was stressing. And we had to extend it by about 3 or 4 days. So luckily what they did find was not anything I was surprised about. So that's good. Yeah, for a 119-year-old building, it's in pretty fucking good shape.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy when you sell something that you own? You finally find yourself in the shoes of a seller who's going through a home inspection and how nerve-wracking it is.
Not only that, but I found myself saying all the same things that my sellers say. We sold it too quickly. Do you think that we could? I mean, everything. I went down the whole thing and I'm like, listen to me, but it is emotional. There is so much emotion involved with it.
That's not a bad newsletter thing. I mean, I'm guessing that you've probably already thought about telling this story about the emotions that you go through.
And why you don't sell your own house, by the way.
Right. Yeah. But
Just
like,
pro tip there.
just think about, all the things that we do on the agent side. And we don't think about putting ourselves in the seller's shoes, or we think, oh, we've done this 100 times. Like it's fine. But in their mind, they do this once every now and then. They're freaking out. So just imagine if you had a video of you explaining, hey, these are the emotions that you're probably going to feel right about this moment. And these are natural. These are normal. We sold your house in the first few days. Yeah, you're probably going to feel like you gave it away. But honestly, if we sell it fast, you're going to get the most money. You know the whole thing. But if you explain to them as you're feeling these emotions, sometimes that might help put it in context for them. So. But congrats on getting through inspections on that, Amber. Who else has got some wins? You guys got clients popping out of the woodwork or anything? No, I don't see any heads shaking. Mamo's got a couple.
I did this morning, a person from high school. Sorry, it's me, but it's a person from high school I haven't talked to in ages, but we keep in touch on Facebook. Reached out and said his dad died and his mom wants to sell the house, which is sad, but also happy for me, I guess.
You were top of mind. Mamo, what you got?
Rocking, man. I mean, ever since it was, I mean, the snow's caused a little dip for the listing side. Not gonna lie, like that sucks. And then tomorrow, and then somebody said it might snow in like, I don't know, a couple weeks again. I'm like, I need the snow to move on. It's because we had that little warm stretch, right? And it was like crazy. And I mean, we're still really, really inking a lot of buyers, but the listings are down a little because of the weather. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
seeing.
Seeing a few nodding heads there. Snow kind of put a damper on everybody's party. Um, you know,
Speaking of the snow, when all of this melts, do you think there's going to be a lot of sellers out there that are going to be frantic? Because I think this is going to expose a lot of problems in foundations, which may be a blessing for our buyers that are currently looking, who, we've been through a pretty relatively dry spell over the past, year or so.
I don't know. I mean, who knows when this stuff starts to melt off? If it melts off fast and somebody's basement hasn't leaked
Vicky
yet,
Dansbury.
then it could expose some people. Time will tell. I guess that's a great way to connect with your clients who have basements. You can reach out to them. Hey, have you heard of anybody having any issues with leaky basements now that this stuff's melting off? I mean, that's one way to connect.
Hey, Aaron, I just want to hop in and introduce myself.
Yeah, let's do it.
My name's Casey West. Couple wins recently are just being a brand new agent, passed my tests, passed my second test just this past week. And another win is I'm hopping on the TJ Gosman group. So I'm excited about that.
That's awesome. How did you find yourself sitting next to such a handsome and talented individual?
He was my realtor when I bought my house. So we've stayed in touch over the past like 14, 15 months, something like that. I bought my house in Morrow, so I'm a local.
Nice.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
He
Well,
was at
Congrats.
he was at wholesaling deals in Florida on his own.
Yeah.
Figured it out. I was like, this guy's sick. I love
Yeah.
Can you
well,
give me some pointers on that down here?
it.
they say that you're the average of the 5 people that you hang around the most, and you got a good one right there beside you. So stay close to TJ, and you'll be a rock star in no time.
Heck yeah, I'm excited.
I love the group that we got on here today because, a couple weeks ago, I got hit with the flu. It took the wind out of my sails, put me out for a couple of weeks. I reached out to TJ. I was like, dude, I got nothing. My momentum, my motivation's off. Like, what do we do? TJ's like, you know what? Me too, man. I'm like, well, maybe everybody else is dealing with this too. Maybe a little bit of lack of gusto, snow, kind of put a damper on your parade. You're supposed to have some listings go on the market, and yeah, they got pushed back. So today we're going to talk about what do people of strong mind, strong business owners, what do we do to get ourselves from, we slowed down a little bit? How do we kick it back into gear? Love to hear from some of you guys who have some tricks up your sleeve.
I just get on the phone and start making calls. Like anytime I don't feel productive, even if I'm doing something that's moving potentially the needle forward and it's expired, it's for sale by its owner's fear, like I just get on the phone and even if nothing happens, I feel so much better that I'm doing something for my business. And it typically leads to something. So, or even if those calls don't lead as a direct result, I start getting calls coming in from people who I didn't even call. Like activity creates activity.
I love that. Who else?
I will say too, like sometimes, those, especially like people here for sale by owners expire. It's like that phone can feel like 1,000 pounds, right? Where you're not, I'm not doing it sometimes. And for me, it's like sometimes it's just calling a client I love, somebody just, hey, how you doing? What's good? And just like get me out of self. Because honestly, it's just self-pity, right? I'm just self-centered. I'm self-pity. Poor me, it's cold, wah. And like if I can go and I can talk to somebody and make it about them, all of a sudden I'm not so hyper focused on poor me. And then I can just move off of that. But sometimes, man, you just got to go call somebody that's going to make you smile.
That's TJ. That's exactly what I did the other day. I was just feeling grumpy and all that. And I picked like 3 or 4 clients that I love who I knew would just want to chit chat. Didn't call them about anything specific, just checking in, how they holding up with the cold weather, what are they doing? Have they had to snowplow? Met any neighbors out shoveling, just like chit chat like that. But it did put me in a much better mood. Also, I put my earbuds in while I did it and I cleaned out my basement craft shelf while I was doing it too. So I was productive at the same time. Get rid of those markers that don't work. Hooray.
Yeah. I just think that like the whole cleaning out process again, and I've said this a couple times, like I am in love with my database. And it's such a weird thing to say, but like I think if you just like I get up early, right? It's hard to get up early, I feel like in the winter because it's so warm and cozy and it's cold and you're like, but if you I think just get in this mindset where you're like, if I get up early, like today, I got up really early, got everything done, got to the office at like 6:30 in the morning, and I'm just writing out all these amazing things that can happen that no one else is doing because I'm getting up early and they're still sleeping in bed. I think you can get like really excited about, the business. Like, oh man, as the temperature warms up, I'm prepared. I'm digging in my database. I'm calling people. I think you just have to get yourself excited about it and get yourself back on a good schedule and not wait for it to, get warmer.
I did a coaching program at the end of last year, and one of the big things they talked about was like an activity tracker that they shared, and it's just daily activities, and there's like points, and for the week you're supposed to get like as close to 100 points. So like, looking at the MLS is like 2 points a day, and then like posting is 5 points, and asking for a Google review is 5 points, all that kind of stuff. And I find that when I do it and make myself do it and get back into the habit of doing it consistently, I just do better because it's, creating what I want it to create.
You guys see a common theme with what everybody's saying here? It goes back to that law of motion that an object at rest will stay at rest unless acted upon by an outside force. Aubrey, you said it best. Sometimes just action creates. How'd you say it?
Activity creates activity.
There you go.
Right.
And here's the thing. Looking at you, Casey, you're the newest guy in the room, right? Sometimes if you don't know what to do, sometimes just having a list of things to do out in front of you will kick you into doing something. Or maybe even a list of people. Like pick your favorite people. Who was it that said TJ said find your favorite person. Just call the person that you know is going to make you smile. Make a list of those people who brighten your day, and you call that person. Man, it's going to give you a little bit more energy. You're going to build a little bit of steam there. Some other things that you can do is find a favorite like YouTube video that's motivational, something that's happy or empowering or something like that. Get you fired up. Like Amber said, put your headphones in and do something productive, like that book called Make Your Bed. Sometimes just making your bed gives you the positive feelings enough that, hey, I accomplished something. Now what's next?
Truth.
What else?
It's interesting too, because I think a lot of times like stress is what keeps us from acting, right? We get so stressed. And like when you think about what stresses people out, oftentimes like work is the solution, right? We're worried about money, so we don't do anything. Well, goddamn, let's go make some money so we don't have to worry about money.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you got to get down to basics and be like, hey, what's freaking me out? And why am I not trying to solve the problem instead of sitting in my shit and wondering why I stink? Sometimes we just got to go and solve some problems.
You guys ever read that book, Atomic Habits? Anybody ever read that book?
Absolutely.
One of the concepts in that book he talks about is friction, right? So just imagine you're coming out of something like, I don't know, you're in a funk, right? You're glued to the couch. You're covered up with some sort of fleece blanket that you bought at Old Navy 15 years ago or something like that. And you're just comfortable, right? The friction of getting out of bed or off the couch and into activity can feel like TJ said, the phone can feel 1,000 pounds. So as professionals who are business owners, we got to figure out what is it that I can do to lighten that friction, right? And it could, like I said, it could just be making a list of people, right? If I know who to call or who to reach out to or who to shoot the text message over to, now there's less friction. I don't have to go thinking about who to reach out to. If I have a script or just a go-to something to say or an easy person to reach out to, that lowers the friction. I think in Atomic Habits, one of the habits they talked about was like flossing your teeth or something. If the floss is in the cabinet, still in the package in the back of the drawer, you're not going to do it. But if you bring everything out to the forefront and set it on the counter where it's in sight, it will get you into the habit faster. So think about the way that your office is set up. Think about how your daily routine is set up. Is there friction that takes you from where you are into production? Or do you have your vision board or your daily goals? Like Chelsea said, it sounded like you were working off some kind of score sheet or like you had a list, right?
I can share it. It's on Excel.
Do it. Yeah, share that list with us because that could help somebody just like, hey, I may not get 100 points this week, but if I got 50,
I
that'd be a
never
step
get
in the right
100.
direction.
I get close.
I love lists.
Nick's the list guy. But yeah, think about all the friction, right?
Oh my God.
Here's the other thing that's going to be a little tough too. This might be a little tough love for a Monday morning. But who around you might bring friction? Who's the person around you that might encourage you to take the day off or to not work as hard or may instill some doubt? And is it possible that you need to spend a little less time with those people? Right? That's a tough conversation. Making time for positivity and less negativity. What else? Anybody have anything to add to this? Kick herself out of a winter funk? The hell did that groundhog say anyway?
6 weeks of bad weather.
He's wrong 65% of the time.
Sam.
Hey, I'm glad he predicted it that way because he's probably wrong.
I think if you just take your car through the car wash today, you might feel better.
Just come visit me in Florida. You'll feel better.
Oh,
Are you in Florida right now?
Stop.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look red faced and like all shiny.
It's cold here. It is
bright.
like
Like,
35 degrees right now. It is cold.
Hey,
yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
I know.
Right.
I know.
All right, let's get into something else here. So we've got ourselves kicked out of this funk. What's going on in the market? What kind of stories can we be telling our sphere of influence right now? If you needed to reduce some friction and make it easy to post something or get out there, what's going on? What can we share right now? Who's talked to a mortgage lender lately? What the heck's going on in the mortgage world? What an exciting time. Nobody knows what the heck's happening in the mortgage world right now?
I wanted to just make a video about, I love green screen videos. I've been doing a ton of those on my Instagram and people seem to like them. I've been screenshotting like Resi articles and even doing a screenshot of just today's mortgage rate and take 15 seconds to make a video like, hey guys, just wanted to shout out like today's mortgage rate. You know, we're sub 6% now. This is a great time if you're thinking about getting pre-approved, or for those of my clients that maybe bought in 2025 and are thinking about refinancing, let me connect you with a great lender. Just to do that one, you know, social media post to keep yourself top of mind as the industry expert, even though like, yeah, it's mortgage related. People still need to hear about that stuff and they still need to see your face as a expert on all things housing.
Love it. Yeah. And you know, the other thing too, think about what's relevant this time of year. Whether, I mean, okay, snow is relevant, right? But you also got, Matt, we were talking a couple weeks ago, the Cincinnati Home and Garden Show, this 2 weekends back to back, February 20th to the 22nd, February 27th to March 1st. Post on your Facebook. Hey, any of my friends going to the Cincinnati Home and Garden Show? What projects are you guys going there to see? What are you interested in? Are you reaching out to everybody on your vendors list? That, hey, you talk about an easy friction-free phone call. Go through your contractors list and just say, hey, how's business this time of year? You know, what projects are you excited to work on? And if I'm reaching out to my sphere of influence, what projects can you be helping people with this time of year? Right? Easy call to make to your sphere of influence or to your vendors list, all the people that work on roofs and concrete and landscaping and all that stuff. And then you can reach out to your sphere of influence. Hey, talking to all the people who do work on homes, do you have any projects that you're working on? Trying to connect some people so they can get ahead of their projects this year. Easy way to get into some conversations. You're not even talking about referring business yet. What are some other things that are relevant to the first quarter of this year that we could be making some outreach on right now?
Taxes, sending people their closing statements from last year.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I just sent all my altas out to all my 2025 people with a letter, you know, that just says, hey, here's a copy. You might need it for taxes and here's why. And do you need a connection to a accountant? And by the way, if you need any, you know, have any friends looking, send them my way, that kind of thing.
I did as well.
Freaking love that. And if you can get them on the horn, you get them on the phone. Hey, here's what this means. I'm sending it over to you. You know, wanted to make sure you got it. Let me know if you have any questions. By the way, how are things going with the house? I think we're afraid to reach out to people that we sold houses to because, oh my God, what if they hate it? What if they hate the house that I sold them? What if there's something wrong with it? What if something leaked? Like, screw that. You be the person who's there to help them out. Reach out to them. How's the house going? Everybody got their Reds magnets on order? You guys staying on the refrigerator like you should? TJ's nodding his head yes. He's a baseball guy. Aubrey, are you rooting for like some Florida team now? Or are you coming back?
I mean, it's debatable.
Okay.
I'm still doing Ohio. I'm still doing stuff. So I'll be kind of bouncing back and I have some help and everything. So we're
Kind of young to be snowbirding down there in Florida.
why not do it now?
Hey, do it while you're young. That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm not in a walker and I can enjoy it. So
That's right. What else? This time of year, what are we doing to kick ourselves out of a funk and get this freight train moving?
Yeah, I think it's a good time for like online contests. If you want to kind of get your online data, your social media database. You got Super Bowl coming up, you got March Madness. It's just easy touches, easy touches to connect with people, little contest, pick the correct score, $100 gift card. Like there's a lot of just little engagement touches you can be doing that are pretty simple.
Love it. Here's the other thing too, and the shameless plug. You guys know about the shirts, right? The real estate conversation starter shirts. I don't know if you saw it on realestatemomentum.com when you go to the link tree on there. The second thing, the thing after the Zoom call is our shop, like where you can go buy these shirts now. They're in there. Feel free to buy them. More shirts coming, so that, and the whole purpose is, it doesn't say a company's name or anything like that. The whole purpose is for it to start a conversation. Are you at the gym or the grocery store? You're going to hang around a bunch of parents where your kids are playing or something like that. You're going on showings. It's great little conversation starters for you. What else, guys? We got like 15 more minutes where we can be kicking this Monday off. If you're not asleep right now,
you
let's
can always just
mastermind.
ask to update your vendor list. Like, has anybody like jumped off? You know what I mean? Or like just let them down that they've recommended before, or like,
Yeah.
and then I do the Glover coaching and they always say like, do I have a goal speech? But then it's like, make it minimum. Like, hey, I want to help like 2 families this month. Not like I want to sell all these homes for like the entire year, kind of minimize it because it's easier for them to wrap their brains around like 1 or 2 people versus like helping you with your entire goal.
Yeah, I had another person on my vendors list. Our roofer called me about our a brick mason chimney person. And he said, "Hey, I just wanted to check and see if this person is still on your vendors list." And I said, "Actually, I took them off 2 years ago because they dropped the ball like with 3 of our clients, so I just took them off." And he said, "Good. I saw where you had left a positive review for them on Facebook, and I was wondering if you were still in contact with them." So like, yes, go back and review your contractor list and make sure you're taking people off there who are not offering the best service, but also make sure you're going in there and asking, go ask your roofer, "Hey, I need a good plumber and I trust you to probably know a good one. Who do you know that I should know?" Right? Like, easy. But you can also ask your sphere of influence, for contractors as well. Guys, we got about 10, 15 more minutes. What do you guys want to talk about right now that's going to help you in your business?
I have a random question.
Let's go.
So most of my clients, well, pretty much all of them have been people that I don't know. And lately I've had people that I know very well. And I feel like I am struggling more with that, like being, the like having the full buyer consultation, like doing everything like proper and like to where I, know that they know what's going on. Does that make any sense? Like, I feel like it's a lot more lax and I don't want them to feel like it's too formal because we're so close. But at the same time, I'm like, do these people know what's going on? So
Chelsea, I love that you say that because I think I really struggled with that
ugh,
too when I was, especially at first. And I also worked in a dentist office for a long time, and I used to have my patients come in that would also be my friends, which was also kind of tough because what if I had to deliver them good, bad news? Hey, listen, you got a
yeah,
cavity or whatever. So I found that if I give the caveat or the preface before I even meet with them, like, hey, listen, you're gonna see work amber right now. I'm gonna go through this like you are any as important as everybody else. Like you just have to kind of put it in a context that like they are just as important. Just because you guys are closer doesn't mean you're gonna, treat it with any less professionalism. But if you give it that first part of it, like, oh, and TJ just says he has a script for that. So,
and
but yeah, but if you put it forward first, hey, you're gonna see work Chelsea right now,
yeah.
then I think that helps and it puts them in the mindset too.
Yeah, I feel like that's almost the problem is that they go in it with the mindset that things aren't going to be as formal or they can get away with more or like we don't have to do this because of our relationship and at an extent okay whatever but like there's got to be some balance there still obviously.
Also,
TJ.
congratulations, you're getting into that now. That's good because the first couple of years, it is usually people you don't know, or they're like
Yeah,
the tier three, and now people are starting to see, oh, she's not just doing this as a hobby. This is her real
yeah,
job.
yeah, thank you. And there are people that have bought several times so they're kind of like we know the drill and I don't want to be like, you don't know my drill, but
Well, just because they bought several times doesn't mean they've seen it done the right way.
yeah.
TJ,
Yeah.
what do you got? You got a script for this one?
Yeah, yeah. So, because I know the feeling. It's a friend. You're like, look, we're bots. We're just gonna
Yeah.
go out and do our thing. So, what I always do is fall back on the system. Hey, before we get started, Chelsea, I know we're boys. We're tight, but I've got an amazing system. And if I don't take you through the system, I'm going to be doing you a disservice. I care too much about you to do that. So bear with me. There might be a few things that feel a little more formal than you and I typically are, but it's worth 20 minutes to make sure that there's not something that's important that I didn't cover. Can you just commit to me that like we're good with that? Just give me 20 good minutes and then we can get started the way that we usually
Yeah, I
interact.
love that.
Yeah, so fall back on the system. It would be a disservice. That's the big word. It would be a disservice if I didn't take you through the full system, and I care too much about you to do that. So that way it's like, okay, we both, and then get the commitment at the end. Can we both commit?
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
There's also a neuro-linguistic programming, kind of a visual way to go about that. And you're setting the expectation. You're saying, hey, I know we're friends. I'm going to take my friend hat off for a second. I'm going to put my professional hat on. And then when we're done, I'll switch them back. Is that okay? And then that way they understand like, okay, for this period of time, like we're talking professional. And then at the end of it, you say, do you have any questions? They're like, nope, we're good. Appreciate that. And be like, all right, now I'm going to take my professional hat off and we can go do what we, play golf, drink beer, do whatever you normally do. Right. However you're connected with them, but it creates it puts standards and borders around the relationship.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate all of that.
Yep. Great question.
I would
All
say
right.
I almost had to treat somebody who I knew like a complete stranger. I sold my grandma's house and I had to deal with my uncle. It was the worst. And like I showed up and did exactly how I would like I didn't even know him and he kind of laughed at me and I was just like, what's so funny? Like it was
Yeah.
I was almost even harsher, not harsher, but like more professional and more stern in a sense than I would have been with anybody else.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
Here's a situation for you guys, and maybe this will help, maybe it won't. But we've got a situation right now with our team. We have a buyer purchasing a house, first time home buyer, and it's the type of first time home buyer that gets a lot of opinions from a lot of different family members, and they know a contractor, but the contractor hasn't ever really worked on anything before. So we're in a situation where maybe the house needed more work than everybody thought it did. So now we're in the process of getting quotes on some really big ticket items that most buyers may not even ask for, but we've got a seller who's motivated on the other side. So the seller's like, hey, just tell us what you want us to do and we'll do it. But we've got a buyer who keeps showing signs that even if everything's fixed to a T, that they're still hesitant about buying this house. So like one skill that I think is huge is being able to read people's, like they may say one thing, but their body language says another. Getting really good at just saying, hey, I have to ask this question. I'm picking up on something here. Are you guys still wanting to buy this house, or are you kind of done? Right. I know sometimes that hurts, especially if you're low on business, you don't have a whole lot of sales or anything like that. But we're in a legally binding contract situation. And if a buyer's telling you one thing, but you're feeling another way, don't be afraid to call it out, because they may be afraid to say something and it's just going to get really ugly the further down this rabbit hole you go. And Nick was there with me. Nick was working with this client, and I'm like, hey man, I'm reading the tea leaves here. We're going to go walk back through this house with the buyer again. And I asked him, Nick, was it 2 or 3 times? I asked him in the kitchen. I was like, you sure you want to buy this house?
I think 3 times, and each time, oh, we love the house. We love the house. This is a house we want to live in. And it's just, oh, they're so annoying. I can't. But with Chelsea, it's like with her, she's talking about, people that she hasn't known. I'm dealing with people that I do know right off the rip. And yeah, it's been weird for me in that aspect. But we're getting there with these two. We're getting there.
I was going to say, Chelsea, I love that you're asking, that question, but I was thinking about this, where this is also like your opportunity to who you're going to be, who you're going to represent yourself now out to because if you represent yourself that way, to your friends and family, that you're super professional, this is how you do business, you take it very seriously. I mean, that's going to last you. That's a longevity play, right? Because there's a lot of agents they're always, it's fine to joke about stuff, or they say too much, right? They tell everybody everything that's going on. I mean, you don't want to be that person, right? You want to be the person that they, I have a whole group of friends and they know not to ask me any questions. They'll be like, hey, did you know so-and-so? Like kind of gossipy things. I'm not going to say anything. Like, confidentiality, professionalism, right. Like this is who you're going to be. And when they see that, then they're going to feel good about sending you business. So I think you think through that and who you want to be as a polished professional, that'll be good.
Yeah, no, I love that.
All right. Getting kind of close to the end here. I tell you what, for most of us are hanging around Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. Bill, I know you're up in Wisconsin. Moment of silence for your weather up there. You guys are going through it, but let's do a little I have, I need. You guys got listings coming up you want to brag about. You got buyers who are struggling. Let's get a little bit of that for the last 5 minutes here.
I have an insane Sycamore Schools 1.2 mil modern with a pool. It's awesome. So if anybody's got somebody looking in Blue Ash, it's going to go on, I'd guess, in the next 2 weeks.
Send that to me.
Okay, will do.
And TJ, are you going to talk about your recent Facebook post at all? I was hoping on this call you would explain that.
Which one?
The one where you're asking people to text about inspections.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. Yeah, this is for everyone. Look, we've realized through our experience in this business that inspections are a pain point for 80% of real estate agents. They're scared to death of them. They don't know how to get through them. It is the worst part of a deal over and over again. And what we're offering is, I don't care if you're on a team, I don't care who your broker is, I don't care if you're an independent agent with EXP, without EXP, don't care. If you need help getting through inspections, text us, call us, 379-2000. That's my number. I will help you get through inspections. It's a service I want to offer because it shouldn't be as hard as it is. So that's for everybody. Nothing in return. Thanks for bringing it up.
Sure. And then lastly, Chelsea, were you going to post that list?
I sent it to Aaron on Facebook because it wouldn't let me
Oh, okay.
here. So Aaron, can you?
Yep, I'll distribute that. What is it, like a PDF or is it
It's Excel doc.
I got you guys. I'll send
Yeah,
it
that
out.
sounds cool. I feel like I just want to bring that up in the beginning of the day and then
Yeah.
see what I can knock out.
Yeah, very simple. Monday through Sunday. It's broken down into marketing, appointments, weekly tasks, and daily routines. So pretty
I
simple.
mean, yeah, even if it just reminds you, like, oh yeah, I could be doing that, or oh yeah, that's one of my jobs. Because I'm sure we forget sometimes. We have a
For people
million.
who love lists, or for people who just kind of like me, sometimes you wake up and you get to the computer and you're like, what the hell am I supposed to be doing right now? Like it's a great it's a great little tool to use. So yeah, we'll get that.
Right.
We'll
Great
get
for
this.
ADHD.
Yeah, the ADHD crew. What's up?
Can I just do a really quick shout out? I like
Do
to
it.
praise public, right? So I called TJ on Saturday because I was really frustrated about some clients that I have. Also, it didn't help that I just had a steroid shot in my arm, and so I was roid raging too. So, but I called TJ on Saturday. I was just so fed up. I felt like I had tried every which way that I could to get through to these clients and help them to understand the situation. So I called him because I just needed somebody to talk me through it. So TJ, thank you for doing that. And what you suggested helped. And so we are under contract now officially.
Go TJ.
You know, when you surround yourself with supportive people that you can trust to answer the phone and help you out, it's a whole different feeling. And that's what this real estate momentum group helps with, you know, just shared, collective thought processing, I guess. Aubrey.
So I have an issue right now where my buyers terminated a contract and the sellers are not signing the mutual termination. They aren't even responding to their listing agent. And she said if they don't respond to them, she's releasing the listing. Like our brokers had said, well, you can't even put in an offer on another house now. And I personally think it's BS because, like, if the contract date ends, then the contract date ends. You know what I mean? By the time they're going to close on another house, then their earnest money just sits there for 2 years, but then they can still go purchase another house. Like, that's kind of mind. I found these people. I know where their new house is. Like, I can be ruthless. Like, what do I need to do?
What?
Nobody wants to answer. I mean,
I don't understand. They said you couldn't write on another house. I mean, if it's going to be tied up for 2 years, it's tied up. It's not. I don't get that either.
Well, that's what the broker said. And then they said, well, because the earnest money. I'm like, what if they don't care about the earnest money? Like, they're just put on a less earnest money on another house. That's fine. You know, we can wait on the earnest money, but still purchase another house. Like, that's how I look at it.
Well, I did it. And it was a weird situation, but I mean, I had them have legal counsel first just to talk about like what could happen, more than just the earnest money. And as long as they understood that, they understood what was happening, then they went ahead and they wrote on another house. So I did that.
Okay.
Holding the earnest money, Aubrey, is EXP holding it?
Yeah.
So this is Ohio?
Mm-hmm.
Don't the brokers send out like a 60-day letter?
It's different.
Just sits for 2
It
years.
just sits for 2 years. It's completely different. It's terrible.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, it's different.
At what point in the contract did your clients make a decision that they no longer wanted to buy the house?
Inspection.
Okay.
So in the state of Ohio, you serve a defect notice and a notice to terminate.
I didn't even send a defect. We just sent a termination. Like,
then the only thing in question is whether you get your earnest money back or not. And
yeah, I mean, because it's a mutual release, and I always thought we had a one party form, but I can't seem to find it. Like, we're just notifying them that we're terminating, but it has to be mutual signature.
You guys know in Ohio, does it have to be mutual or can it be unilateral?
It's got to be mutual. And I will say, just again, this is a little bit off, but always send an inspection request, even if it's the whole damn inspection, because the contract basically says that you got to give them the opportunity to fix whatever the issues are. So by just sending the release, you actually took leverage away from your client.
Okay.
Yeah, just, again.
Well, and then I said, we'll send like an insane defect notice.
Exactly. You're better off sending the entire inspection, sending an insane defect notice, and then letting
Okay.
them say, no, it's a little bit of, it's dumb, right? We're playing games, but the contract is not favorable if you don't do it that way.
Okay. We're still within because we
Technically
got an
speaking, in
extension, so I'm
line.
still within that, so I can send it in.
Well, so technically, right here in line 338, it says, in the event that the parties fail to reach a mutual signed written agreement under this section, this contract shall automatically terminate.
That's what I keep saying.
Yeah, just because it's automatically terminated, though, doesn't mean their earnest money is getting released. That's a separate animal.
Correct.
That's a
So
separate. But
I always write it into my contract, like if the buyer and the seller cannot come to an agreement on inspection, that the earnest money will be returned to the buyer,
yeah.
just to make sure, because it's not a given.
No, I get that, but that thing was is like saying that they can't ride on another house. Like they're fine with the earnest money. They know that that could sit for a little bit. You know what I mean?
I disagree with the broker on that for what it's worth.
I know.
Not that I'm a broker, but I disagree with the broker.
I do
I do
too.
that a lot though. So
Same. Yep.
Thank you, Allison. And Dana.
Guys, if this call has taught us anything, it is that action will kick you into success faster than anything else. So whatever you do this week, make it more than you did last week. All right. Get into something. Chelsea, thank you for sending me that list over. I'll get that published out to everybody so that you guys can download it, print it out, stick it on your desk or on your whiteboard, whatever that is. Really useful tool. Won't be long too. I'm going to be posting and sharing a seller and buyer pre-consultation questionnaires so that you can ask your buyers and sellers questions before the actual meeting. Those are coming out this week. And between now and next Monday is some kind of football game on Sunday. Good luck to all the teams. I hope they all have fun. But we'll see you guys next Monday at 10 o'clock. Bring a smile and a friend. We'll see you. Go out there and crush it. See you guys.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.